Here are the 5 players that raised their stock this offseason or were the best players this offseason. Yes, you can classify these players either way. Either way, all of these guys have really good off seasons and they definitely help themselves out as the season begins to start. Now, there's more to the off season, but basically we're done with OTAs and, we've went through the mandatory minicamp. So we're going to keep going with the off season, but to this point, these guys are looking really good. So let's get into it. Coming at number 6, yes, this is the top 5 list, but I always like to throw in a bonus person. So here we're throwing in Joe Dahl, the lineman. Now, Joe Dahl seems to have a spot with the Detroit Lions. He's a very versatile player that can play on the offensive line, play the guard and the tackle position. But not only can he play on the offensive line, he can actually play fullback, and we've seen him do it before. And that's really what the Detroit Lions like about Joe Dahl. This is a huge offensive lineman. So you put him at the fullback position, it's very scary for defenders. So Joe Dahl probably has made the team for the Detroit Lions for 2019. It's just how big of a role will he have. But with his versatility, he can do multiple things. So that's why the Detroit Lions want to keep this guy around. But now, starting off the list, coming in at number 5, we have the wide receiver, Danny Amendola. Danny Amendola coming from Miami and the Patriots, now with the Detroit Lions. And with all of these injuries this offseason, the Detroit Lions have really had to rely on some depth wide receivers to step up this offseason. And the number one guy that Matthew Stafford relied on was Danny Amendola. And I made a video talking about Danny Amendola was going to be his best friend or best target this offseason. Well, Danny Amendola has been playing very well. He's not a huge wide receiver, but he's taking over that role. And Matthew Stafford's chemistry with Danny Amendola has gotten a lot better. And this has been the go-to guy pretty much for Matthew Stafford this offseason. When in doubt, give it to Danny Amendola. Throw it to Danny Amendola. And he's been making really good catches. Again, he's not a huge wide receiver, so he doesn't have like a huge advantage on anyone. He's not super fast, but he's a possession guy. He usually makes the sure-handed grab. And that's what I really like to see from Danny Amendola. And again, with other injuries at the wide receiver position, he's really helping himself and making the spot on the team for 2019. Coming in at number 4, we have the running back, Kerryon Johnson. So you could put this guy probably at number 1 because he's been amazing this offseason. But again, we were kind of expecting that, and he was amazing last season when he wasn't injured. So I don't want to put him at number 1 because his stock didn't rise that much. Basically, he's just been amazing this offseason. We knew he was our number 1 running back. We knew he was maybe the best player on our offense, and he was going to be the focal point of this offense. But he has also shown us something else with his ability to catch out of the backfield, and not only like catching swing routes, I'm talking catching passes down the field. It's been exceptional. He's been really good out of the backfield catching the ball, and it's something that you really like to see from your running back because it keeps the defense guessing, and it gives Matthew Stafford multiple options, and the offense multiple options. When you have Kerryon Johnson on the field, it doesn't just mean you're going to run the ball, you could also be throwing it. And with that kind of ability to catch the ball being such a young running back, he's only getting better. This is really nice to see from Kerryon Johnson. Coming in at number 3, we have the wide receiver, Andy Jones. Similar to Danny Amendola, Andy Jones is a guy that's taking advantage of injuries for the Detroit Lions. So Kenny Galladay's out, Marvin Jones Jr. is out. So Andy Jones steps up and he plays a big role for the Detroit Lions. Similar on the defensive end, Darius Slay is not here, so that means Teez Tabor is our number 1 cornerback, Rashawn Melvin is the other cornerback. So Andy Jones is going against Teez Tabor a lot of the time, and it's been pretty exciting to see. Sometimes Teez Tabor wins the matchup and he comes up with some interceptions, but then you see Andy Jones make some really big catches, and he's had a really small role with the Detroit Lions in the past. But now I believe his role can definitely improve with how well he's been playing this offseason. I'm super excited to see what Andy Jones can do. I really like this wide receiver. I like his physical stature and abilities. And I think he's going to be a really nice piece for the Detroit Lions. He's going to give Matthew Stafford a pretty long weapon, okay? Pretty wide range where you can throw it to for Andy Jones. He's been playing very well. Another young wide receiver just developing every single year. And he's very familiar with Matthew Stafford in the system. Coming in at number 2, we have the tight end, Logan Thomas. The tight end, Logan Thomas, coming from a quarterback position. Yes, in Virginia Tech, he was a quarterback. He was drafted in the 4th round as a quarterback. Now he is a tight end for the Detroit Lions. I'm really excited to see what Logan Thomas can do here with the Detroit Lions. He's a guy that can do multiple things. I'm really excited to see what Logan Thomas can do with the Detroit Lions. Because of his ability to throw the ball, don't be surprised if they use him here and there in trick plays. I really like what I'm seeing from Logan Thomas this offseason. And with a deep tight end class that he is in right now with T.J. Hockenson, Jesse James, Isaac Nauta, all of these tight ends. Now, we just traded Michael Roberts, so that definitely helps him out. He was happy about that. But we still have a pretty deep tight end group with Jerome Cunningham, guys like that still fighting to make positions. Logan Thomas definitely helped himself to earning a roster spot, and he needed it this offseason. This is his 2nd time being here with the Detroit Lions. He has tried out multiple places, and I think he may have found his home here in Detroit. And then finally, at number 1, the guy we've all been waiting for, Teez Tabor. Teez Tabor comes in at number 1. He had a very, very high start to this offseason. He's definitely our number 1 cornerback. Then he took a little bit of a dip, and we were like, oh, we're back to Teez Tabor. And then to finish off OTAs, he came back and he had a couple more interceptions. So he played very well to end the OTAs, and he started off like a madman. He was great. So Teez Tabor showed multiple flashes of making really good plays. He did show a little bit of a dip, but that's expected. All players during the offseason are going to show dips. But really, we've just seen improvement. Teez Tabor was the guy that gave up a perfect pass running back in 2018. We had cornerbacks that couldn't force a turnover that weren't named Darius Slay. So to see a guy in Teez Tabor who is getting interceptions during the offseason is super important. He's put the work in. He's worked with Chad Ochocinco. He's did multiple things to make himself better, and it seems to be paying off. Super excited. I hope that Teez Tabor can be a big cornerback for the Detroit Lions. Hopefully he can be our number 2 cornerback. I have a lot of faith in you, Teez Tabor, so make sure you go make that happen. Keep putting the work in, and good things will happen. That is my list for top 5 players this offseason, or guys that have raised their stock. Super excited to see all of these guys. I believe all of these guys will make the team. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, Brad, for watching, and I'm out.